Welcome to Worship Leader Hangout. Every year, without question, we completely change the appearance of our stage. As much as it may hurt, it's out with the old and in with the new, like you see behind me. I want to show you our new stage design and exactly how it was made. So, let's go. Today is the first day of about 4 days, well, I guess 4.5 if you can count yesterday. So now I'm gonna just kind of show you around what the room looks like on day one. This is lunch, as you can see over here. Right here on the stage is our building section, or our building department, if you want to call it that. So Jay right there, I think he's fixing one of the older pieces. Basically we're taking some of our older stuff that we pulled down and making it into what the new design is going to be. And then what we do after we build, we go to our paint department. Let's go over there. Just like that. So as you can see behind me, this is where we're painting. It's great because we have this huge loud heater that you can kind of hear up here, and it just blows straight down, and it's a perfect spot to do paint. So that's what we're doing here. Michael's finishing up, so once we build him, we bring him over here. Michael, the guy behind the camera right now, here, look. That guy is painting them. Some of them are pieces from our previous design, so he doesn't have to do a lot of painting. And then tomorrow, we're getting brand new wood in tomorrow for the remainder of the design that we don't have wood for. And then after we're done with paint and they're dry, we'll go over here. Every week, CMG releases eye-catching screen visuals that are specifically designed to look great in churches. They're perfect for worship lyrics, announcement slides, sermon presentations, and really anywhere else in your ministry that could benefit from a fresh look. The best part is CMG is affordable. They have subscriptions that work with any budget. With their premium subscription, not only will you receive worship backgrounds every week, but you'll also gain access to thousands of motion backgrounds, sermon and announcement templates, social media graphics, and so much more. Go visit churchmotiongraphics.com and enter the coupon code WLH to get $15 off the premium yearly subscription. That's churchmotiongraphics.com. All right, so for this design, I don't know if we've talked about it yet in the video or not, we are using fabric. So this section over here needs to be clean. So we're making sure the floor is clean, so when we put this fabric down on the floor to be able to build the design itself, it doesn't get all dirty. Sorry, somebody's acting like they're about to step on the fabric. So this is what this section's all about. And then we bring it right behind me to just this little part right here is where we're actually putting the LED strips on. I just wanted different sections to be able to do all this, just so as people are working, we're not stepping on top of each other, and we have a big enough space to do that. So, and then if we need to cut anything, we go right outside that door. As you can see behind me, we have gotten completely done with two and we're just getting them up there, and we'll kind of fine tune where they are, where their position is on the stage. Once we get all of them up there, then we'll start to adjust, left and right, make sure they're centered. Once each panel is in place, I will attach them all together with little attachment, like little pieces of 1x2 to just attach them all the way down. That way they're more or less one solid unit, and that way they're not just gonna be swinging all individually. So that's it. That's where we are, day one. Let's get it done. This idea you see behind me came out of an older idea that I had a long time ago, where I used Coroplast panels ascending from the center to the edge of the stage. Now, that wasn't a bad idea, but I was really kind of getting into using LED strips at the time, and I wanted to go that route. So I was like, well, let me think of this other idea. So you can check that out actually right here, but after this video. So now I had a plan to build large white fabric panels illuminated by LED strips, hanging side by side in an ascending vertical arrangement. So with this new idea / plan, it was now time to make a concept. I'm sure there's all kinds of sophisticated softwares that I could learn and just get really good at, but the way I think, there's just no time. I mean, I use Keynote, believe it or not. And I use Keynote to lay down the idea that's in my head, mostly so that other people can see that idea and give me their opinions, and so that way I can also collaborate more effectively. If I can get the design on paper quickly, then I can collaborate quickly, and then the whole project just goes a little more smooth. Plan on paper, on purpose. This is highly important when it comes to stuff like this. I usually make a lot of changes before I'm completely satisfied with the design. Once I have the concept on paper, I can now take measurements like right here on the stage to see if my concept even makes any sense at all when it comes to the context of the actual stage. Our workable stage area is 52 feet wide and 16 foot tall. So with some simple math and like eyeball guesstimation, I can determine how tall and how wide each panel should be, or possibly should be. I typically write down measurements and test them against the actual stage. This also allows me to see if there's any other possible factors that could derail the entire design completely. And one of those factors came in, I had to redesign this because I didn't have a way for our team to exit the stage if all the panels were on the same plane. For example, this section right here that you see behind me, I had to push forward these 3 sections right here. These 3 are pushed forward about 3 feet or so that way our people could have a space to walk out. Because if I would have put all these on the same plane, then I wouldn't have had a section for them to walk out. Also, these would have overlapped massively if I would have left my original concept and rolled with that. So I had to take off 2 panels on each side, readjust some things. So that's what I mean by an example. I was like, oh goodness, our measurements don't work. So I want to have a space for our team to be able to walk through, so that way they can walk right up on stage, but from the front, it still looked really good. You may have to go back and refine your concept, but that's okay. That's why we plan on paper first. Materials. Yes, we used materials. The materials we use on all of our stage designs are generally really simple. This keeps the cost down. This also makes it easy to find. Starting with the frame, we use 1x2 pine wood boards. These are the cheapest boards you can possibly get. For the fabric, I did go to Rose brand. I priced this beautiful fabric that I really liked. It ended up being like $900. So I was like, oh, what's the cheapest I can get in a 100-foot roll? I found one that just looked great. It worked perfect for what we needed. But it was only 150 bucks. So I tried to get that price down. As you can see along the inside edge of the frame, we're using LED strips. They're RGBW LED strips from Amazon. I'll link those below for you. And this gives us some flexibility in our lighting design. We can light, we have 2 different colors facing into the fabric and give it just a more dynamic look. Each strip on each panel are completely separately addressed, so that way we can control all the strips individually. The LED strips are soldered to extension wire using amazing little self-soldering shrink jackets that you just have to heat up with a heat gun. It makes it so much easier than trying to splice them together with a butt splice or solder them together traditionally, or use just a regular heat shrink thing. Yeah, check these out. I'll link those below as well. The extension wire is plugged into an 8-channel DMX decoder that's powered by this basic 12-volt power supply. I've linked that below as well, but I also have a video showing you exactly how to wire these exact RGBW LED strips to the decoders and get those running on DMX. Check that out right here if you're having trouble with that, or if that's something that you've never done before and want to learn that. Today is day 3, so we're going to build this 8-foot section that's about to go up right there. That's one thing I've never done in these videos, is step-by-step instructions. You and me just together. We're gonna do this together. You ready? It's just an 8-foot 1x2, and we're gonna attach it with a 3-foot at the top and 3-foot at the bottom. So we got it measured. Let's go outside and cut this thing. Got my pieces. Now we just need to attach these to the top and bottom. It's really simple. We're gonna use a brad nail gun. I'm literally just putting this piece of wood on top of that piece and lining it up because they're both 3 feet. Got my little brad nail gun here. All right. Now, we gotta take this over to paint. Get it painted black. Follow me? Okay, we got the 8-foot painted. Looks good. Now we're ready to put the fabric on. So here we go. A couple tools that makes this easy is to, when we do our pleats, it's great to have an air stapler. It just makes life so much easier, doesn't it, Maddie?
Yes.
Maddie's like, yes, it does. So these things are excellent to use for this type of problem. But I don't know what's going on behind me, but we are trying to film a video. Another thing is good quality scissors. We'll be using those. And that's pretty much it. I'm just leaving a couple of inches, maybe between 2 and 3 inches at the bottom, just so I have enough to grab onto. Roll it out. Like I said, about a couple inches from the bottom or top, whatever that ends up being. It's good to have good scissors, because you know, people that work with fabric a lot know, gotta have good scissors. So we're gonna just staple that down the center of this frame. You didn't record all that mess?
Nope.
That looks good, boy. All right, so I'm gonna go about 2 inches off the edge. So that's where the edge of my pleat is gonna be. My pleat is a 1/2 inch wide, and the space between each pleat, if I'm saying that wrong, just bear with me. But the space in between each fold is 3 inches, except for the edge. So I'm gonna grab it with my fingers, roll it toward you guys. So now I'm gonna measure 3 inches, and that's where I want the edge of my next one to be, my next fold. So I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it, again, grabbing that fabric. About a 1/2 inch, maybe a little more than a 1/2 inch. It's about a 1/2 inch. So I wanna measure that again. It's a little less than 3, so I'm gonna do that again. That's usually how it rolls around here. That's about 3 right there. So I'm gonna pop that down, staple it top and bottom. Okay, so you just gotta keep pleating, keep folding and pressing and stapling until you're
Do that
done.
again?
Okay, what?
What you just did.
Oh, so you have to just keep going until you're done, making sure they're perfectly straight, perfectly the width of each pleat, and here and all that. All those little measurements line up, because by the time you get to the end, you want it to be even across. Like I said, our frame is 3 feet, and we're doing 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 folds. So 10 pleats across, separated by 3 inches. That's pretty much it. So I'm gonna keep going on this, and I'll see you on the other side. When you finish doing the 10 pleats, if you're doing a 3-foot section, you want to, I'm just kind of folding this corner in and then rolling. So I'm gonna roll, staple, staple, staple as I go along the edge. So it doesn't have to look perfect. This is the back side, but that's just how I'm doing that. I just want to show you how I finished the edge. You could cut it. We did cut our first few, but we decided to roll it. It just looks better, has a better overall appearance, just for our sake, really. Nobody else will see that. We're finished with the pleating. We're now to the point where we need to put LED strips on the side. This one just really happens to be the BTF lighting, but you can find these on Amazon. They are excellent, and they're the black like subcore. So where the actual LEDs are mounted to is black instead of white, which is really nice. Here's one that's white. This is a 4-pin, so you can see the difference in how that might look when it's on there. So I'm gonna just stretch this all the way out. I've determined that this is the bottom because of the way the pleats are facing. The folds are going in toward the middle of the stage, and that's kind of how we're doing it. The ones on the right side are going in toward the left and left toward the right. So I just want to make sure I put the connector at the bottom. They have a new tape. However, I still use a little bit of glue, and I dot the glue along the edge about a width of the bottle. So that's about 4 to 5 inches. I don't go all the way down to the bottom because I want to be able to allow that tape to stick to the bottom, and then we'll super glue the bottom later. Actually, we have somebody working on that right now, super gluing all the bottom of the LED strip. So we'll just dot this glue just a little bit. And this is a Gorilla Clear glue, so that way when it dries clear, you don't see any glue marks or streaks or anything like that. Just dot a little bit of glue so we know if that tape tries to fail, and then the glue's got that secondary bond that it needs to have. So just gonna walk this down, pressing it down, lining it up as I go. I'm using a glove because these little LED cells are very sharp, and I just don't want to get my hand in the glue. If you've never worked with these, you cut it on this little copper joining space, or one of these soldered places. You can cut it here or here, and these strips are great because they're every 2 inches. So I'm just going to pull it back, cut it right on that line. The week of is very important. You have a lot of things that you need to put into place as far as your lift rentals, if the lift is something you need. So keep that in mind. Build a budget. Budget every single line item that you need, and try to think of all this ahead of time and put it on paper, so that way your finance team or whoever's kind of over you as far as your money in your church knows exactly what's going to happen, and or knows exactly what did happen if you have somewhat of a large budget and can just spend all this money without, you know, somebody knowing about it. But for our sake, we like to build all this out on paper ahead of time, turn that in for our fiscal year budget, which is coming up, by the way. Dang it, I gotta do that like now. So that way you have a better idea going into this how much money you're gonna spend. We don't spend a lot of money at all. I mean, the biggest item we spend money on is the lift rental. So we just need to buy one. I mean, really, I'm tired of renting one. We'll get there one day. And the biggest, the most important thing that you will do is get your people organized and have people here at your church helping you with this design. You cannot do this by yourself. There's so many things that have to happen, that have to come together in a week's time, and you gotta have people. And I can't thank the people enough that helped me with it. There's so many people, from tear down to building, to setup, to painting. I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen, and I couldn't do it without them. So I want to encourage you, worship leader to worship leader, or worship leader to production manager, or worship leader to whoever you are, let's find the people to help us with this. We need help, and it's okay to admit that we need help. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to check out the sponsor of today's videos, Church Motion Graphics. Go check them out, links below. And remember that great worship leaders are always learning. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you.